Hello, friends, foes, men, women, children, and of course, brand new viewers of The Right Show. This is not the Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Ellen show. I had an amazing Halloween party last night, did not even have time to change, so you get to see me as a lifeguard. I promise I'm wearing red shorts. I'm going to show you just to prove it. Take a look. Bam! All right, today's episode, we were going to cover automatic cars jamming up your roads. Victoria goes on a secret diet. Competitors ring Taco's bell. And Jamaal Bowman is guilty of pulling a fire alarm. I'm your host. This is Valuetainment Presents The Right Show. Let's go. All right, let's get right into it on our day after Halloween, The Right Show episode. First of all, Cruise automatic cars. You might have seen these things driving around. They got the weird cameras on top and on the hood, and there's nobody in the driver's seat. Well, you might not see them driving around for long. We're going to read this article here. GM's Cruise halts the U.S. robotaxi service after a suspension for a pedestrian who was dragged several blocks. So they lost their permit in San Francisco. The pedestrian was trapped under an autonomous vehicle. What a weird word that is. And this is a very interesting thing because you could basically kill someone on purpose with the automatic car. What am I talking about? If you wanted to get rid of somebody in the future, if there's no real drivers, let's say a president gets into an automatic taxi and then they boop, 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 someone codes it to just drive off a bridge, and then no one would be guilty of this murder. It'd just say, well, I guess the car did it. These cars have a mind of their own. I want to show you a traffic jam that happened recently. We can watch this on the screen. Austin, Texas. These cars pulled in, and then I was told this was going to be the solution to traffic jams and car accidents. But these are not smart cars. These are very stupid cars. Take a look. There's about 20 of them. They convened.
Are you telling me
and nobody can get out of this parking jam situation.
I love this.
So obviously a lot of bugs to work out in the future. This is not the future they promised us. Do you think we're ready for autonomous vehicles? Do you think it's safe? Do you think they're going to get rid of an opponent, maybe a political opponent, with these robot cars and say, I don't know who did it. I wouldn't put it past the Clintons. Moving right along, I was able to join PBD on his very own podcast, and I thought it was a lot of fun. We were talking about iPhones, and we got each other laughing. If you have not subscribed to the PBD podcast, a lot of crossover with The Right Show. We want to see you on both. Take a look.
I got the iPhone 15 right here.
How was it?
And I didn't upgrade last year because the only reason I don't upgrade is so annoying. Every time you have to redo all your passwords. And I have so many different passwords. The transition is still very annoying when you're going from phone to phone. It's still not as smooth.
Your trans phone. I got it.
It's not a...
Anti-trans.
You're trans.
So I'm anti-trans transitioning from an iPhone 13 to 15.
Although it was very handy yesterday, it gets so hot, we actually made ramen noodles with it.
Really? So this problem with the overheating, is that something that you guys are going to have to return your phones and get new ones? Because that's a major issue.
I don't know if they've ever done a recall. I don't think it's like cars to do a recall. But if you remember what happened a few years ago when Apple took off, Android took a lead on Apple.
Yeah.
When all of it, the biggest advertisement Apple ever got, where it took their business to a complete different level with market cap exploding, is when Android started exploding.
Yeah,
and
phones.
on flights, the flight attendant would say, if you have an Android Galaxy,
shut it off.
Please shut it off because of what's been happening recently. Apple ran with that.
Oh my God.
Their whole campaign was, you can a trusted phone that doesn't explode.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But,
So terrorists love Android.
but Android, if this thing, the official phone for Hamas,
this phone is the bomb.
The official phone of Hamas. So that's what we got into. And in that episode, we also started talking about Victoria's Secret. You might not have heard, but Victoria's Secret went woke for a couple of years. They shunned the traditional women they would put on there. It used to be the fantasy. You got these girls, they're looking amazing. Of course, anyone can shop at Victoria's Secret, but they would show you the best of the best, and that's what you got into. Well, a couple of years ago, they decided, nah, we're going to switch it all up. This is ridiculous. They went for oversized mannequins, lots of extra plastic. I call them manatees. And then they got into the thing where they were putting different people like Megan Rapinoe, who, if you've seen Megan Rapinoe, she doesn't have a lot of secrets. We have the same body, and she's sitting there modeling the bras and the underwear. Well, that has been a disaster. Take a look at how it used to be, okay? And we read the article that's coming to us saying, according to executives, the brand's diversity initiatives have not been enough to carry the day financially. Not only that, their wokeness made them lose business. Now, men have a thermometer on what's hot. We don't need an expert to tell us. It's built in, and if it goes up, woo, that was hot. And if it goes bloop, ask any man, they'll show it to you, I'm sure, if you want to know how that works. It's not just Victoria's Secret. The whole left keeps trying to change what we find beautiful. They think they can just explain to us what hot is, and you got it all wrong. That is not true. If you look in Australia, Maxim magazine named a transgender woman one of the top 100 most beautiful women in all of Australia. I'll read this to you. A former Australian Football League player, listen to this, placed 92nd on the list of Maxim's definitive list of Australia's most influential, successful, powerful, newsworthy, talented, and beautiful women. Number 92. And this is not a young, hot chick. It's not even a young, hot dude. This is a 56-year-old football player. Unbelievable. That'll really let you down. And you know who's the most upset about this? Any woman who got 93, 94th, 95th place. Could you imagine the family picnic? Hey, you're the 95th hottest woman in Australia. It's too bad that dude beat you. So I feel bad for all those ladies, and I want to know from you guys in the comments. Do you think Victoria's Secret made a big mistake going for big supermodels and big mannequins, or do you think there's a little something for everyone? I'll tell you this. Just because there's a few men out there, okay, and a lot of people say this, there are guys out there who love big women. Yeah, they exist. There's also guys out there who like dudes, but they don't offer things for Victor's Secret. So why don't we go back to the tradition, make sure Victoria makes a lot of money, and keep the rest of it secret. We'll be back with a whole lot more of The Right Show. Everybody's trying to have a hot new hairstyle, turn a bunch of heads. You know what? I don't even know what my hair looks like under yesterday's Halloween costume. I dare not show you. But this guy took it to a next level. Apparently, he really loves chess, or he's trying to meet a girl who's into intelligence, a sapiosexual, and his hairstyle looks a little something like this. Watch it in action. It's just like Victoria's Secret. You know, you could say, well, there are some women who like that. Ladies, would you go for a man who is wearing a chessboard on his head? At least you have something you can do on the date. It's not going to be just about getting you in bed. It's going to see how smart you are. You know, maybe you could do a little, whoever wins gets a little something, truth or dare kind of thing. Folks, I got to tell you, if she's not into chess, maybe she's kind of like one of those Miami girls who's more into her OnlyFans. You could be like, I got other games too. We could play checkers. How about a little taboo? You could have a whole thing going on. We'll see about that. Doll makers have been dealing with amazing haircuts for a long time. Here's how they do dolls. I never noticed this. Check it out. Now, when I first saw this, I thought, that is how Donald Trump does his hair every morning. But then I looked closer, I realized this is a professional system. Look what they do. They put the rubber doll, pull it out, then the magic happens. And for those of you just listening, this shows you how quickly they can make hundreds of dolls with ink, rubber molds, and a printing press. It's quite fascinating, and they inject the hair right into the scalp. Booyah! There it is. Too many of us are imposters. We hope we don't get caught, not found out. And no, bigger fakers are out there than the rappers who claim they're gangster, they're tough, they're banging, mess with me, talk to my hoe, and watch what happens to you. And that's all fun and games until your dad tells the truth about you. Here we have a rapper that Michael Irvin, the famous football player, said he never even lived that gangster life. Take a look.
He had a son. He raps. His rap name is Tut Tarantino. If you ever listen to some of his raps, I'm like, oh my God, where does this come from, son? You grew up in a gated community your whole life, but he's rapping my life because we romanticize and fantasize about that old thug life, ghetto life, and all of that stuff. When we used to work to get away from it, now we've gotten to a place somehow we're running back towards it.
That is a huge problem. I mean, we got to talk about this. The father's absolutely correct. He said, I worked my tail off to make myself into a level of a professional that my kid never had to live that gangster thug life, and he is now embracing it and going back the other direction. I don't know what's a bigger hit to a rapper's ego, to find out that he lived in a gated community his entire life, or to find out he has a loving father. That's a double whammy. Good luck ever having your career take off after that. Meanwhile, actual black people are starting to wake up to the fact that maybe, just maybe, they're being divided by the radical left, BLM, the press, the media, the music industry. Here we have a African-American gentleman who has decided maybe Trump isn't that bad after all. It's going viral because we're not used to seeing this from a dude who's thinking for himself. Take a look.
Democrats call Trump a racist for his build that wall policy.
Build that wall. Build that wall.
Biden pretty much ran on the fact that he would not build another segment.
There will not be another foot of wall constructed on my administration.
We will not build a wall. Instead, we will build an economy where everyone who wants a good job can get one.
And New York City is a sanctuary city that said, come one, come all.
We want people to come here, despite where they came from or despite the circumstances that drove them to this country and to this state. We say you are welcome here with open arms. We'll not only house you, but we'll protect you.
We are all in this together. We're not like those who are sending people away during their time of need.
And this is how that's going.
The children of migrant families shipped north on buses provided by Texas and Florida. More than 110,000 migrants have arrived in New York, and now a dire warning from Democratic Mayor Eric Adams.
I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City.
We're at our limit. If you're going to leave your country, go somewhere else.
With a surge in illegal crossings, the Biden administration has announced it is waiving more than 24 federal laws to add on to the border wall in southern Texas.
You could be woke and virtue signal all over the place as much as you want. But when the shit hits the fan, you might just look like a hypocrite.
That is what you call a 180-degree turn. What a great guy for paying attention to the way the media keeps flipping and flopping, and they never admit it. They never tell you, we said this and now we said that. They always just keep pushing along and hope you forget. Hats off to that gentleman for putting it together. Do you think the border is secure? Do you think they have our best interest in mind? Or do they just think an election season is coming and they think we better get these immigrants out of the way and secure the border for the final 6 months after they left it open for 3 years? We'll be back with a whole lot more. Don't go anywhere. I have a great update for you on the marathon. Now, I've run a marathon in my lifetime. It was over 4 hours. I was tired. My arms fell asleep. You know, when you run for too long, you don't think about it. Your arms are in this position, and then there's no blood, and then they go like that. So by the end of it, I look like a T-Rex. Okay, that's some inside knowledge there. But this gentleman is a master at running marathons. Kenyan. Those guys are the best. I don't know why. He did it in right around 2 hours. Okay, you're talking 13 miles an hour for 2 hours. How do you train for something like that? How do you run 4 hours? The guy beat me. He could have done 2 marathons in the time I did one. I feel inferior. Well, I want you to see I'm not the only one. They built a treadmill that has a soft landing to show you what it would be like running for the marathon, and they try to see how long it would take you to collapse. These guys can't even make it 30 seconds. Take a look.
So, Gary, this has been programmed to the new world record marathon pace. Yes. How fast is that? 13.1 miles an hour. He runs at that speed for 2 hours. That's his average speed.
Less than a minute. And 3, 2, 1, showtime. Don't laugh. Do not laugh at that, gentleman, because I want you to take the marathon treadmill test. I was at the gym yesterday, and I just, for fun, I put it up to 12. I could not do 12, let alone 13.1. What a time. This is a crazy thing to see. Human ability is beyond belief at this point. Now, something that's more relatable to you and I, the dollar store is in hot water. The dollar store already gives you great products for 99 cents. Of course, with inflation, they've had to raise it to $1.50. They forgot to tell some of the customers that it was going to be $1.50, $1.60. This is a huge scandal, folks, because the dollar store is going to have to pay $1 million after charging customers too much at the checkout. Do you hear what I'm saying? It's already a dollar product. They accidentally made $1.50. Big lawsuit. Multiple people. Tort reform. Do not promise me $1 good and charge me $1.40. Don't mess with penny pinchers. They don't play. And another group that's not playing is Taco Bell. Taco Bell just won a major lawsuit. Who would have thought this would have gone up to the Supreme Court? The Supreme Taco and the Supreme Burrito Court. Let me explain what's happening. Taco Bell won a legal battle that began during the summer where they wanted to use the phrase Taco Tuesday. Now, there's some other taco place saying, we thought of that first. I've been saying Taco Tuesday my entire life, but apparently that started somewhere. Well, it turns out so many people say Taco Tuesday that Taco Bell won. Yes, and they are now officially allowed to use the word and the term Taco Tuesday forever. They're also allowed to use the terms, why did I eat that? And now I have diarrhea. Those are the other two terms they're allowed to use. We'll be back with a whole lot more from The Right Show right after this. Democrats have been behaving badly, and we got a lot of it on tape. The first one is none other than Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She told someone from the libs of TikTok, the person that does that account, that she does not want to ever see her again. But she forgot who it was a year later, so the lady cornered her, and she just wanted to know, as a Jewish lady, why AOC has not been sticking up for Israel. Take a look.
Hey, can I grab a photo with you? Hi, thanks.
Oh, hi.
So when you told me you never wanted to share space with me,
I never want to share space with you. Thank you.
Is it because you're part of the Hamas caucus and I'm Jewish? You know there are Americans being held hostage. Do you care? Do you care that Hamas is holding Americans hostage? What do you say to the families of Americans who are currently being held hostage by Hamas?
And slam the door. Boom. So AOC won't talk to the libs of TikTok. Now, the thing is that after Hamas jumped the border, that's why you need strong borders, and they came in on parachutes and they started gunning down innocent civilians. Then they took hostages, and there's a lot of hostages, and AOC has not said a single thing in support of the hostages, getting them back. She has posted, hey, what's up? Let's support Palestine in this tough time. She's best friends with Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, and they seem to be very, very pro. They just always seem to be on the wrong side of things. Pro-radical Islam, pro-people that scream death to America. They see them as the losers, and the left loves to think they're on the side of the losers. And Israel really was the victim in this whole scenario. A lot of people argue about that. Well, that was their land. I don't know. Israel and the Jewish religion is a lot older than the Muslim religion. Secondly, if it were to go to the Palestinian indigenous people, Hamas would just take it from them. So either way, Palestine is never getting that land. It's either going to the Jews or the brand new religion, the Arabs. And so you got to decide who should have the land. You got to also remember, Arabs keep conquering land and getting Muslim land. Pakistan is a new country from 1949, I believe, and you can fact check that. They got new land. There's Jordan, there's Egypt, there's Saudi Arabia, there's United Arab Emirates. There's only one little country the size of New Jersey that they've just carved out a little thing. It's very tiny. And they just want a place for Jews to have their own. And it is the policy of the radical Arabs to kill all Israel and all Jews until they are pushed into the sea forever. And that is why Libs of TikTok was chasing her around. We move right on to the next Democrat acting poorly. Jamaal was a congressperson who said he didn't understand the fire alarm system. They were taking an active vote. He stopped a congressional act, and I was told that is a radical insurrection. Here's his explanation for why he pulled the fire alarm. Just a big mistake, everyone. Let me ask you, in junior high, did you learn how to pull a fire alarm and when not to do it? Well, let's take a look what it looks like.
Much attention. I was literally just in a rush to go vote, man. That's all it was.
Are you afraid of any repercussions, either from leadership or from legally from Capitol Police?
I mean, listen, I take responsibility for what I did, but like I said, I was in a rush to go vote.
Back then, we only saw a still picture of him. Today, we saw actual video where he walks up to the warning signs that say it's a fire alarm and this is not an entrance, and he actually pulls those signs down. There he goes. And then he goes and pulls the alarm.
Pay the fine. 3 months from now, it'll be dismissed, and I'll be able to just continue to serve my district.
You mean it'll be dismissed, like it'll be expunged from your record?
I believe so, yes.
That's the deal?
Yes, yeah.
With Capitol Police?
ACD, the DC.
So that is a really funny explanation he gave. He was in a rush to go vote. He pulled the fire alarm, and he stopped the congressional process. Remember, January 6ers are in jail 5, 10, 20 years for stopping the progress of a congressional situation going down. So that's what his excuse was, and you can watch the video very clearly. Does this look like he was trying to go vote, or was he tampering with the system? Junior high expert pulls the signs down, looks around, and there's the fire alarm. Indeed, this is one of the lesser known stereotypes of people. Black people love pulling fire alarms. I don't know if you've heard that before, but that is something they love to do. And we need to start talking about these lesser known stereotypes. It's not his fault. That's just what they love. I will tell you, Asian people, they love running into the back of your leg with the shopping cart at Costco. It just happens. It's just what it is, okay? There's things like that are out there. We need to talk about them. It's not Jamaal's problem. Our final, and that's obviously a joke, so don't get mad at me. Do you know any lesser-known racial stereotypes? Please put them in the comments. I'll give you another one. Persians love returning things, not buying them. If my dad can return anything that he bought or maybe was given as a gift, he loves it. Store credit, go buy something else with it. All right, our final segment of the day is obviously to make you laugh. We got to leave on a high note. Thank you for sticking with me for this day after Halloween episode. And this is a little comedy clip that I posted last week, and it's a lot of fun. If you enjoy this, come see one of my shows live. Take a look. But you still have your mask, everything's okay. Until the pretzels arrive. COVID took a pretzel break. Yeah. A little bag of magic pretzels. You get 6 of them. Once you finish the last one, put your mask back on. Science. Oh, sorry. Okay. I saw one dude coming from Florida all the way to California, licking each pretzel individually. He made his pretzels last. He did. He wasn't just eating the pretzel. He was. I said, I'm going to do that on my flight. That's amazing. On my flight, they gave me pretzel sticks. It ruined my plan. I was ready to lick the pretzel. Here I am in the corner. Sir, put your mask. I'm still sucking this one. Can't do that. The pretzel matters. Pretzels matter, okay? You want the curly ones to lick. You don't want unless that's what you're into. Oh, I just thought of another lesser-known racial stereotype. White people love stealing Tupperware, okay? If someone gives you, if you ever bring something to a party in a white person's house, they're going to steal the Tupperware. And then you're going to ask for it, and they're going to, I don't think we have it. I thought we gave it back. So just be careful with that for these upcoming holiday parties. Just be ready to say goodbye to that Tupperware if you give it to a white person. Folks, that is the end of the Day After Halloween Right Show episode. If you want to see one of my live comedy shows, I'm going to be in Reno, Nevada. We just added Orange County and Indiana. All those cities, states, and counties and more are on kvoncomedy.com. Remember, we tell truth through comedy. We wake America up with laughter, and we are here to tell the news to people who really don't like watching the news. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Happy holidays.